Hello everyone, Reginald Scott here. Welcome to the video. Great to see you all again, and I hope you're all doing really well today. Now today my intention is to save you guys a lot of time, a lot of hassle, a lot of frustration, and most importantly, lots of money. Because everybody likes to save money.
Whoa! I want that money! Oh, I fell on my keys.
By telling you what the best bar tape you can buy is. Now, it isn't these bar tapes that you see in front of you. I'm going to show you what the best one is later. But I also want to talk generally about bar tape, about the qualities that we should be looking for in a good bar tape. And I have 6 things which I consider to be the most important qualities with regards to finding a good bar tape. So number 1 for me is grip. Okay, so grip is how the bar tape feels when you're obviously holding on to it. And what's most important about the grip is that it is grippy. What matters most is when your hands are either wet or dry, gloved or ungloved, can you stay hold of the bar tape effectively without falling off the bike or your hands slipping off, right? Okay, that's the most important factor. So that's my number 1 is grip. Number 2 is comfort. Now this was a difficult one because following very close behind at number 3 is style.
I'm looking nice. My hair is nice, my face is nice, my suit is nice. I'm looking really nice. Ow!
A lot of you might be looking for comfort when you choose a bar tape, and that's great if that's why you're selecting the bar tape. Obviously you need good grip, that's a given, but if you're looking for comfort, maybe you're getting numb hands or pain in your hands or bad circulation or something like that, and you want a bit of more of a bouncy or chunky bar tape, okay, to soak up a bit of that road vibration. The reason why I don't prioritize comfort that much with my bar tapes is number 1, I've got a good fit on the bike. I'm fairly confident and experienced on the bike, and I don't tend to find that a thicker bar tape really helps me all that much. Another thing is I'm always moving my hands on the bars, so I never stay in one position too long on the bars. By moving my hands around, I actually increase the comfort of the ride, and I find that thicker or thinner bar tape doesn't really matter. The other thing is that if you grip the bars really tightly, like if you're nervous or something, what you'll find is your hands get very painful. And if you have a relaxed grip, your hands can bounce up and down kind of thing with the road vibrations, and it doesn't really hurt that much. If you really squeeze on, all that vibration gets really sort of transferred through your hands. So for me, comfort is not a very important factor, but I know for a lot of people, it would be an important factor. Now we come on to style at number 3. Now, why is style important? Well, for me, style is important because you're going to be spending hours and hours and hours looking at your bar tape. The other thing, of course, if you've got a really nice bike and you stick some really ugly bar tape on it.
Brother, what's that? What's that, brother?
You know, you don't want to be advertising the fact that you've got no style.
La quoi, sweetie? It's all right, isn't it? It's a bit tight, maybe. It's all right, isn't it?
It doesn't make you look good, and we want to look good. Come on, we're road cyclists. Looking good is important to some extent, okay? So I put style quite high on my list at number 3. Now, below number 3, I put life, or the longevity of the bar tape. Now, why did this come in at number 4 and not like higher in the scale? Well, because you should really be changing your bar tape every 6 months, and although that does sound like something that a bike shop owner would say, and yes, I do own a bike shop, and yes, it is good when customers change their bar tape more regularly for my bank account, I genuinely do believe you should be changing your bar tape every 6 months or every 7 months, okay? Because bacteria, fungus, and other nasty microbes and stuff are building up in your bar tape while you're riding. And if you don't change it, bad things can happen. Let me just show you now. I don't even like touching this thing because it's disgusting. So this is a bar we had from a previous customer, and you can see all of that corrosion there is a result of the fact that they didn't change their bar tape. So they just left the same bar tape on the bar for many, many months, and it just corroded away the bar. And we've actually chopped the bar up, as you can see, to prevent anyone from using it, because you can see just here there's a hole that goes all the way through, and this bar had several holes like that. that had basically been eaten all the way through the metal. So if you don't change your bar tape, you're basically running the risk of ruining components. Now, obviously this is not going to happen in the same way with a carbon bar, but there are other things on your bike that will be affected, like your cables and so on and so forth, and connectors, especially those if you're using disc brake systems. The hydraulic connectors rust really badly, and they're also under your bar tape. So if you're not changing your bar tape, you're not monitoring the condition of your equipment, and it can result in stuff like this. So this is not only disgusting, but it's also potentially dangerous. So that is why, yuck, I would recommend changing your bar tape every 6 months. It's really important that you do that. So for me, the life of the bar tape, it's important, but it doesn't matter as much as the other things I've listed. As long as the bar tape lasts at least 6 months. If the bar tape can't even last 6 months, then that's bad, and obviously that's not a good bar tape. But I have customers who have bar tapes that last literally years, and it's a real problem. I've unwrapped bar tape from people's bikes that looked absolutely fine, and underneath it was just a complete mess. Like, it was total chaos. So one of the culprits for that kind of long-lasting bar tape is this physique stuff here. Now this, for a long time, it still is really, is one of my favorite bar tapes of all time. It's kind of like a leather surface on this bar tape, and this stuff, when it's new, this is the older version, by the way. The newer version looks like this. Okay, so they've actually changed the style of this leather touch. They call it classic. They've actually changed the style of this one, so it looks like this now. But it's essentially the same material. But this stuff is amazing. Not only does it feel great when you're riding, because it feels like leather, but also it lasts for absolutely forever. I've got customers who put this on their bike like a couple of years ago, and it's still going. Like, it's still going strong. In fact, I've got a bike with this on in red. Where is it? Oh, here we go. I've got this color on my bike. It just lasts a really long time. It's very, very good stuff. If you put this kind of bar tape on your bike, it will last years. You shouldn't you shouldn't keep it on there for that long, but it can. And that's why this one was my favorite for so long. Excellent grip, fantastic durability, and although it was pricey, it wasn't the most expensive bar tape you could buy. Durability again, we've got this one here. Now this one is another really good bar tape from Physique, and this is actually another very popular tape with my customers. This is probably one of the best selling tapes I ever had, in this color, of course, in black, because most people like black. And what this stuff is it's basically a little bit like suede. It feels like if you run your fingers across the top of a pool table, kind of like that. It's a little bit furry. It's called their Soft Touch, or Soft. Bond Cush Soft. 3mm thick. You can see the layers that it's made out of here. The surface of it, when it rains, it does get a little bit wet, and it kind of soaks the water a little bit, so that's not great. Whereas this one doesn't soak the water kind of just runs off it, so that's nice. But even though it soaks the water, the grip remains fantastic with this. This is especially good actually if you use gloves, because the material of your gloves, kind of a bit like Velcro, seem to bond really well to this one. So again, a very popular tape here at my store. A lot of customers like it, and it's similar price as well to this one. In fact, both of these are the same price, but $42.
42?
And this one is another one that lasts absolutely forever. I have customers put this on their bike and not change it in over a year or more than a year. They'll be riding around with this one. Now this one, this Vento, this is also old stock, and this one is also breaking down, unfortunately. So after about 2 years of this stuff hanging around inside its box, it goes bad. This is an example of bar tape that I most certainly would not buy for that reason. I've got a bunch of this stock now, and I'm using it because there's nothing else I can do with it. But anything that's basically a tacky tape, okay, so I've got an example here. This is actually a Supercaz tape, and anything with this kind of rubbery or tacky surface, as you can see, this is made out of just 2 layers, and you can actually see the rubbery surface on the top here. The Supercaz tape tends to split and separate. There we go, look, just by flicking it with my fingernail, you can see that now. The edge is starting to come off. There you go. So the Supercast tape, not brilliant. In fact, this is my least favorite brand of bar tape, actually. I find it really garish and ugly. But like anything with a tacky surface, basically, avoid. All right, so this kind of tape, I love the color, by the way. This is my favorite color of bar tape, which is a real shame because the material really sucks. Now, when you first get it new, if it's not old stock, it feels absolutely great. Like, I love the tacky feeling of it and the grippy feeling of it. However, when some of this sort of tacky tape gets really wet or sweaty, the grip surprisingly isn't as good as, say, like the leather touch kind of tapes or the soft touch kind of tapes. These are actually better in the wet, in my opinion, than these kind of things. But like I say, the problem with this stuff is it comes off. Like, this is way worse than it should be, by the way, because it's old stock. But this is basically what happens to your tape, and this is just demonstrating at an accelerated rate, because this is already past its best. But like I say, I can keep this in stock forever, and this never goes bad like this one. This goes bad. This doesn't go bad. So if you buy this tape early and you're not planning to use it for a while, it doesn't matter. The soft touch type tape will last a really long time, as will the leather touch tape. It will last a really long time as well, over 2 years. This stuff goes bad. And the crazy thing about these tacky tapes as well is they're bloody expensive. The old leather touch was $33. Then they jacked that price up to $42. Same for the soft touch tapes. And then this one in Brunei dollars in my store was $60.
You serious?
Basically double the price of this, and it's less reliable. Absolutely nuts. This is the bike industry trying to fleece people for as much money as possible. Give them a product that doesn't last as long and charge them double the price. Really, really bad. Not happy with this. Once I found out that this stuff was really unreliable and doesn't work, I'm never buying it for my shop again, ever. Okay, so now I'm going to show you what the best bar tape you can buy is. And the other two factors before I do are price and weight. Okay, and this bar tape has all 6 factors pretty good. So the best bar tape you can buy, which fits all my 6 categories for how to select a bar tape, is this. Now, it's not this particular brand, Chinelli, and it's not this particular color or style. Okay, that's up to you. But it is definitely this kind of bar tape. What am I talking about? This kind of bar tape is the material that it's made out of, right? And it's different from all the other bar tapes I've shown you just now. I'll explain why in a second. So this is called EVA. Okay, I'll put the technical description on the screen so I don't have to try and remember it. But basically, I call it synthetic cork. And it's basically just foam. All right, it's like a foam bar tape. I've got some more examples of it here. I'm not sure what brand this is. It could be BBB. It's got little chips of something else in there, maybe little bits of cork. Who knows? This one is definitely BBB. And as you can see, it's the same sort of thing. And then this one is more Chinelli bar tape because it's Chinelli branded. And this also has little bits of something in it over here. But this stuff is the best bar tape you can buy. All right, let me explain why. So over here, I have another piece, which is really cool. It's in camouflage color. And I'll go through all the qualities of this stuff. Now, the first thing you notice about this kind of bar tape is, unlike other types of bar tape, let me pick this one, you see that other types of bar tape are made out of individual layers, okay? And the problem with individual layers is the more layers you have, the more expensive it's going to be, okay? Now, obviously, they're picking different materials for different properties. So the base material has got, you know, some kind of foam on it, probably like EVA. And that is designed, obviously, to shock absorb. And then the top surface here has been changed to give a more sort of either comfortable grip or more luxurious grip or something like that, right? Whereas this EVA stuff is just foam. It's just foam all the way through. There's no change in the material whatsoever. So that, number one, makes it really cheap. And so you can buy this stuff at ridiculously low prices. Now you can see this one from Cinelli is a ridiculously stupid price, but that is because it's Cinelli. Okay, you're buying the brand. The BBB one is the most popular, one of the most popular, the most popular selling tape in my shop, is like $22. Okay, so it's cheaper than the old Physique Leather Touch. And if you go online and you buy it from, again, some unbranded Chinese company, you'll probably find it for like $5 or $10. You know, it's really, really cheap. Another thing about this EVA stuff is it lasts forever. Like, I have customers that drive me absolutely crazy. I've got one customer, you know, I've known him for, it's got to be at least 6 years I've known the guy. He's changed his bar tape only once with me. And yes, it looks a bit grubby in places, but it's black, so it doesn't really show up the dirt very well. And it just stays on there, and he's never removed it. And I have told him that it's a good idea to remove it every now and again, you know, just to check that everything's okay. He is running an aluminium bar, so, you know, the risk is there. All I can do as a bike shop owner is give him advice and say, look, I think it might be a good idea to change your tape a bit more regularly than every 3 years. But for whatever reason, he's not doing it. So there you go. So for price, this stuff is just incredibly good value for money. It is the best value for money bar tape you can possibly buy. Now, you'll see this stuff on a lot of new bikes. You know, when you go in a bike shop and you're looking for sort of like cheap new bikes, or even more expensive new bikes, they always come with this EVA tape because it's so cheap. But surprisingly, I think it's one of the best. Now, the grip on this is great, absolutely great. I have no issues gripping this tape whatsoever. It doesn't feel luxurious, okay, you know, it doesn't feel like a nice leather tape or something, but it feels fine. Like, there's no issue with gripping EVA tape whatsoever. Even in the wet, it's absolutely fine. With gloves, it's absolutely fine. It just works. Okay, it just works well. So grip is no issue with this. The life is fantastic. Now, comfort, like I said before, if you notice, these other tapes, they actually have like an EVA base on them, like a foam base, and that is the shock absorption. That is the comfort level. But these full EVA tapes, yeah, are 100% EVA. They're 100% foam. They're 100% shock absorption. What you also tend to find is that, you know, a lot of tapes out there, they can be anywhere from, say, 1.5, 2 millimeters thick. This one is 2.7. This one is 3. So these are like 100% cushioning, and most of them are close to 3 mil thick, almost fully 3 mil. The Physique one that claims to be 3 mil is actually slightly over 3 mil, just slightly over. So they're pretty thick, but it's all cushion. It's all cushioning and all shock absorption. So the comfort level on this stuff is absolutely amazing. Next is style. It doesn't matter what color you like, you can get it in EVA. You can get such an incredible range of patterns, far more than you'll ever get from brands like this. Like Physique will do this in all the main colors you can think of, but they won't do one that looks like camouflage, and they won't do one that looks like an Italian flag, and they won't do one that looks like a bunch of eyeballs looking back at you. You know, they if you can think of a design, and you can think of a color, and you can think of a color combination, you can get it in EVA. Like, it's that's the thing about EVA. Although it doesn't look luxurious and it doesn't look particularly stylish, because everybody looks at it and they know it's cheap tape, but you can get it in any color or style that you want. Literally anything. If you've got the most random, stupid bike color on the planet, you can get EVA tape that will match your bike. So that is a wonderful thing about EVA tape. Don't ever buy those daft bar end plugs that come with them Supercaz tape, which are made of metal and you have to screw into your bike. They're annoying as hell. Number one, the idea is, oh, well, you screw them in so they won't come out. bar end plugs don't normally come out anyway. And if you lose a bar end plug, just go to any bike shop and ask them if they've got a spare. Because I have bags, I have literally sacks full of bar end plugs. So don't worry about these things falling out, because they very rarely do. It hardly ever happens, maybe in a crash. And what you want is a bar end plug that actually comes out when you want it to come out. Those screw type ones are a pain in the ass, because sometimes they get jammed inside the handlebars, and you're there with like pliers and hammers and stuff trying to knock the damn things out. They're just so frustrating. I absolutely loathe those bar end plugs. But not only that, this bar end plug weighs like 2 grams. Right, 2 grams, okay? The ones from, like say, brands like Supercars that do the screw-in ones, they can weigh anywhere from 20 to over 30 grams because they're made of metal and hard plastics, and they've got a steel screw in them. So they're made of aluminium with a steel screw, and sometimes the rear ends are made of metal and sometimes the rear ends are made of plastic, but they can weigh anywhere from like 20 grams to over 30 grams. That's an additional 30 grams of weight you just don't need on your bike. What's wrong with a plastic 2 gram end cap? Sorry, this is just something that really bothers me about, like, it's a modern bicycle thing as well. It's this idea that everything has to be premium. No, it doesn't. It's just a bloody end cap. That's all it is. Don't worry about, you know, the mechanism of putting it in. These things are absolutely fine. The Physique ones are probably the best, I think. The best bar end plugs on the market. They just hold really well. They have a fantastically tight fit. They come out when you need them to come out, when you're changing your tape. And they're lightweight and simple. Let's start with these two. So these are almost the same size. Maybe the soft touch here is slightly bigger, but they're virtually the same. 55 grams, okay, for the leather touch. 48 for the soft touch. And then the Vento, which size comparison, similar size to the soft touch, 39s. So let's show you the EVA now. Now the EVA with Chinelli, you do get a bit less, but it depends on the brand, how much tape you actually get. So Chinelli are ripping you off as well, because they're not even giving you much tape. But there you go. So it's slightly smaller, but it's not a massive difference, okay? But look at the weight difference. 22 grams. It's literally air. There's very little in this, but just air bubbles. So it makes for an incredibly lightweight tape. So you've got the lightest tape, you've got the cheapest tape, you've got any color that you possibly want, you've got fantastic durability, you know, you've got good comfort, you've got great grip. Why is anybody using anything else? 22 grams. So you see, I'm a weight weenie. I think weight matters for performance. This stuff is super light. And this is still a very good, durable, long-lasting tape. But you're paying 42 Brunei dollars for this, right? And this, you could find it for like $5. On AliExpress, you could probably find this for like $5. 42 versus 5. The longevity is going to be about the same, if not longer, with the EVA. The comfort's going to be equal, if not better, with the EVA. The weight difference is enormous. It's over double. So if you had 2 rolls of the Classic plus your end caps, that's 120 grams. 2 tapes, 2 end caps, less than half. Isn't that incredible? You know, we often think that weight savings are going to cost us more money, but I can guarantee you, if you're using any kind of fancy branded tape right now, you could save yourself a lot of weight by switching to this cheaper stuff, and you'd save yourself money as well. Hopefully this video gets out there. Hopefully you share this video around, and we can literally just destroy the market for expensive bar tape, because this is one of the big problems in cycling, right? It's got ridiculous. You know, it's okay to have nice things. I don't want to deny people their nice things, all right? But when it gets to the stage where, okay, this was $33, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty standard, but yeah, you should, why not?
Maybe it's justifiable because it's made of so many different layers and it's got the stitching on it, you know, it actually has real stitching. And you've got 3 different layers of material, and it feels nice, and it was kind of justifiable, okay, for me. the Physique tape at $33. It was kind of justifiable. But then what did they do? What did Physique do? They raised the price. They made it more expensive. It doesn't have any more layers to it. Look, it's basically the same for layers. If anything, they've actually thinned down the tape. You notice here that this side on this older tape is much thicker because it's thick all the way to the edge, and then it's got this nice lip. And this stuff used to wrap absolutely beautiful. I loved how this wrapped. It was such a perfect shape for wrapping. This one sucks. Like, wrapping wise, it doesn't wrap anywhere near as nice as the old version. It's way worse for wrapping. And you can see, look, it's got way less comfort. There's less foam. So the newer one doesn't wrap as nice. It's got less material in it. It's less complicated. This is a way more easy generic, right, pattern to make. Whereas this screams Physique at your face, you know. This is why I fell in love with Physique. This is the Italian design that I fell in love with. This reminds me of like an Italian handbag or something. It's really nice and pretty. The detail on it is incredible. Look, can you see all the tiny details on it? That was worth. It's even got little K. They're actually little K's. Look, it's covered in tiny little Physique K's. That was the old style stuff, $33. They jacked this one up to $42. Can you believe it? So we're being screwed. We're being totally screwed. But all of the brands are doing this to us. They're all doing it. They're all trying to squeeze us for as much money as possible, making us believe that you have to go out and buy stupidly expensive bar tape that costs $60. It's insane when you could probably get this EVA in the same color, and it's not just as good, it's better. So let's absolutely let's absolutely trash the big bike brands and say, look, no, we're not buying your stupid overpriced bar tape anymore. We're going to stick to the cheap stuff that came on my bike when I bought it originally. You know, back in the day when I was buying cheap bikes at Decathlon and things, when I first started out in cycling, and for half of my cycling life, to be honest with you, where I was on cheap bikes, this was what came on my bike. And it was fine. I used to ride this through UK winter to work every day, and it was absolutely fine, this kind of tape. So there you go. All right, folks, I hope this video was useful to you. I hope I've saved you a bunch of time and money. I hope I've saved you frustration. The only thing I would emphasize one more time is please do change your bar tape more than every 3 years. You know, every 6 months or 7 months is really good. Nobody wants to be riding next to somebody in a cycling club who's got bar tape that reeks like a Calcutta sewer. Nobody wants that, all right? So please do change your bar tape a bit more often, and remember, it is actually for your own benefit. Okay, I'm not just saying that. And I'm not saying change it with $60 bar tape. That would be stupid. Thanks for watching. As always, been great to see you. And when you're out riding, please do stay safe. And I shall see you in the next video. Bye-bye.